Think Toyota is the king of car tech? Think again. For decades, Toyota has built a reputation for bulletproof reliability and sensible, well-engineered cars. It's the brand your parents trust, the one that sells millions of Camrys and Corollas without breaking a sweat. And yes, their hybrid systems are legendary, but, and this is a big but, does that really make them the leader in all automotive technology? I'm here today to suggest that maybe, just maybe, we've been giving the crown to the wrong Japanese automaker. It's time to look past the beige and into the brilliant. Today we're diving into 10 controversial reasons why Honda might just have the upper hand over Toyota when it comes to engines and technology. We're going to explore the quirks, the innovations, and the engineering decisions that make Honda, in my opinion, the more exciting and forward-thinking company. This isn't just about 0 to 60 times or fuel economy numbers. It's about the philosophy behind the engineering, the passion that translates from the racetrack to the road, and the clever features that make you say, wow, why didn't anyone else think of that? This is the ultimate showdown, the clash of the titans from the land of the rising sun. So buckle up, because this is going to get interesting. We're going to look at everything from legendary engine systems to motorsport dominance and clever interior design. Get ready to challenge everything you thought you knew about these two automotive giants. We're about to peel back the layers and see who truly deserves the title of engineering champion. All right, let's start with the big one, the legendary system that launched 1,000 memes but also defined a generation of performance, VTEC. Now, Toyota had its own variable valve timing system, VVT-i, and it was fine. It was good. It did the job of improving efficiency and providing a smooth power band. But Honda's VTEC, which stands for Variable Valve Timing and Lift Electronic Control, was something else entirely. It wasn't just about efficiency. It was about personality. It gave you two engines in one, a calm, fuel-sipping commuter below about 5,500 RPM, and then, bam! The VTEC crossover hits, the high-lift cam lobe engages, and the engine screams to life with a totally different, aggressive character all the way to its stratospheric redline. This dual personality was revolutionary. It allowed a small, naturally aspirated four-cylinder engine in something like an Integra Type R or a Civic Si to feel docile around town but absolutely ferocious when you pushed it. Toyota's approach was pragmatic and aimed at smoothness for the average driver. Honda's approach was for the enthusiast. It was a statement. It said, "We know you need to drive to work, but we also know you want to have fun on the weekend." It was a brilliant piece of engineering that gave Honda engines a soul that Toyota, for all its reliability, just couldn't replicate at the time. It's a quirk, and a fantastic one. This brings me to my next point, Honda's obsession with high-revving engines. In the world of automotive engineering, getting an engine to spin at incredibly high speeds reliably is a massive challenge. It requires perfect balancing, lightweight components, and immense precision. For a long time, Toyota's engines were known for their low-end torque and dependable, but ultimately unexciting, power delivery. They were built to last, not necessarily to thrill. Their redlines were sensible, practical, and frankly a bit boring. You shifted at 6,000 RPM and that was that. Honda, on the other hand, treated the redline as a challenge. The Honda S2000 with its F20C engine had an absolutely astonishing 9,000 RPM redline from a 2.0-liter four-cylinder. 9,000! That was motorcycle territory, not something you found in a mainstream roadster. The sound, the feeling of winding that engine out, was a visceral experience that Toyota simply didn't offer in a comparable car. It wasn't just about making power. It was about the experience of making power. This focus on high-revving, naturally aspirated screamers created a unique and addictive driving dynamic that cemented Honda's reputation among enthusiasts who valued driver engagement above all else. In an era where the manual transmission is tragically going extinct, Honda has remained one of its most loyal custodians. And they don't just offer manuals, they offer some of the best manuals in the entire industry, at any price point. Toyota has made some great manual gearboxes over the years. No question, the one in the Supra is a good example. But their commitment has wavered, and for years, Their mainstream cars were dominated by competent but uninspired automatic and CVT transmissions. Driving a manual Corolla was a functional act, not a joyful one. Honda, however, turned the simple act of changing gears into an art form. The shifter in a Civic Si, a Type R, or an S2000 is a masterpiece of mechanical engineering. The throws are short, the engagement is precise and metallic, and the clutch is perfectly weighted. It feels like a well-oiled rifle bolt snapping into place. This isn't an accident. It's a deliberate choice to prioritize the connection between the driver and the machine. While other brands, including Toyota, were chasing faster shift times with dual clutches, Honda perfected the simple, joyful, and engaging experience of a true three-pedal setup, and they deserve immense credit for keeping that spirit alive. So, the famous Lotus founder Colin Chapman had a really simple philosophy: simplify, then add lightness. And honestly, it seems like Honda was paying close attention to that idea. While Toyota has often built cars that are super robust and, let's be honest, kinda on the heavy side, Honda has always shown this real commitment to lightweight engineering. And it's not just about swapping out steel for aluminum or anything like that. It's actually a holistic approach to design that touches every part of the car. A lighter car doesn't just accelerate faster, it brakes better, turns in more eagerly, and yeah, it uses less fuel too. Think about the original CRX, those early Civics, or even the first generation Insight. These cars were total featherweights, and that made them incredibly nimble and efficient. Toyota's equivalent models, almost always heavier. This philosophy is still going strong today. Even though cars have obviously gotten heavier for safety reasons, Honda still manages to keep its performance models, like the Civic Type R, pretty trim compared to all-wheel drive competitors like the Golf R or GR Corolla. And honestly, this focus on reducing mass is way more complex from an engineering standpoint than just adding more horsepower, and it really shows a deeper understanding of what actually makes a car fun to drive. So, a manufacturer's involvement in motorsport is about way more than just marketing. It's basically the ultimate research and development lab. And yeah, Toyota has a super respectable racing history, especially in rallying and Le Mans. But Honda's pedigree, especially in the top tiers of engine-focused racing, is honestly on another level. I'm talking about Formula One here. Honda has been a dominant engine supplier in F1 across multiple eras, powering legends like Ayrton Senna and more recently Max Verstappen to world championships. This is like the absolute pinnacle of engine technology, where you're squeezing out unbelievable power and efficiency from a tiny hybrid powertrain. That relentless pursuit of performance on the track, it directly influences the cars you and I can actually buy. The high-revving nature of their road car engines, the precision of their engineering, and their expertise in hybrid systems, all of that has roots in their F1 and IndyCar programs. When you drive a Civic Type R, you're literally feeling the trickle-down effect of decades spent competing at the highest level. Now, Toyota's racing efforts are definitely commendable, but Honda's deep, continuous, and honestly often dominant presence in Formula One gives them a technological edge and a kind of cultural cachet that's almost impossible to match. It just proves their engines aren't only reliable, they're world beaters. So, when you think of hybrid cars, you pretty much immediately think of the Toyota Prius, right? It's the undisputed king of the market, the car that made hybrids totally mainstream. And, I'll give Toyota all the credit in the world for that. They commercialized it brilliantly. But they actually weren't first. The first mass-market hybrid sold in the United States wasn't the Prius. It was this, the 1999 Honda Insight. And wow, what a quirky, fascinating, and honestly super technologically ambitious car it was. It was a real statement of engineering prowess. The first generation Insight was basically an exercise in hypermiling extremism. It had this tiny 1-liter 3-cylinder engine paired with an electric motor, a super lightweight aluminum body, and an almost comically aerodynamic shape with those rear-wheel spats. It achieved an EPA rating of 70 miles per gallon on the highway. Toyota's Prius, which came out a few months later, was a much more conventional, practical 5-door sedan. It was definitely the car that won the sales race, but the Insight was the car that pushed the technological boundaries further and did it earlier. It really shows that Honda wasn't just a follower in the hybrid space. They were a bold, and maybe even a little eccentric, pioneer. Now, this is where things get really controversial, because Toyota's entire brand is built on reliability, and honestly, they deserve it. But there's a difference between baseline reliability in a commuter car and reliability when you're pushing a car to its absolute limits. European performance cars are famous for being brilliant to drive and, let's say, temperamental to own. This is where Honda shines. They've managed to build some of the most exciting and high-strung performance cars on the market that are also famously, almost boringly reliable. I mean, think about the Honda S2000. Here you have a car with a 9,000 RPM redline, producing 120 horsepower per liter, a record for naturally aspirated cars at the time, and yet they're known for being incredibly robust. Owners regularly take them to track days, thrash them to redline all day long, and drive them home without an issue. The same goes for the Integra Type R and the modern Civic Type R. These are not fragile machines. Honda managed to engineer the thrill of a high-performance engine without the typical maintenance headaches and reliability concerns. Toyota's performance cars are reliable too, but Honda proved you could have extreme performance and everyday usability in the same package. You know, a car is more than just its engine. And honestly, Honda's cleverness goes way beyond what's under the hood. It extends deep into the cabin. While Toyota has always focused on making sensible, ergonomic, but let's be real, often very conservative interiors, Honda has consistently been more innovative and frankly, just more fun. The perfect example of this is the Honda Magic seat system that you find in cars like the Fit, the HR-V, and even the old Element. This wasn't just some basic folding rear seat. It was like an origami masterpiece of packaging. You could fold the seat bottoms up to carry tall items, or fold the seat backs completely flat to create a huge cargo area. It's such a brilliantly simple and incredibly useful feature that makes their small cars feel way more practical than their size would suggest. And honestly, why didn't Toyota, the king of practicality, ever come up with something this clever for the Yaris or the Corolla hatchback? It's a question that's always bugged me. Beyond just the seats, Honda's dashboards have often been more futuristic and driver-focused, like the two-tier digital dash in the 8th Gen Civic, or the driver-centric cockpit of the S2000. They really take chances with interior design, and that willingness to innovate inside the car is just another way Honda outsmarts the competition. For decades, Honda was basically the champion of the high-revving, naturally aspirated engine. So when the industry started shifting towards smaller turbocharged engines for better efficiency and more low-end torque, a lot of enthusiasts, including me, were honestly pretty worried. We thought Honda might lose its soul, but wow, we were wrong. Honda's transition to turbocharging has honestly been one of the most successful in the entire industry. They didn't just slap a turbo onto an old engine, they engineered a whole new family of Earth Dreams turbocharged engines from the ground up. These engines, which you find in everything from the CR-V to the Civic Type R, manage to give you that strong, accessible torque that modern drivers expect, while still keeping a bit of that classic Honda character. They're responsive, they're efficient, and in the case of the Type R, they actually deliver absolutely monstrous power, while still being happy to rev. Meanwhile, Toyota was actually pretty late to the small turbo game in its mainstream cars, sticking with its hybrid tech and bigger, naturally aspirated engines for quite a while. Honda saw where things were headed and pulled off a near-flawless pivot, showing they could master forced induction just as well as they mastered natural aspiration. And finally, we get to a factor that isn't really engineered in a factory, but is just as important: the community. Now, Toyota definitely has its fans, especially for models like the Supra and Tacoma, but honestly, the passion, the scale, and the creativity of the Honda enthusiast community is just on another level. For decades, the aftermarket support for Honda cars has been absolutely massive. You can build a Honda Civic to do pretty much anything: drag racing, road racing, autocross, or just a fun street car, using a huge catalog of parts from thousands of companies. This intense community and aftermarket scene creates this awesome virtuous cycle. It keeps older Hondas on the road, it brings new enthusiasts into the fold, and it keeps pushing the boundaries of what these cars can actually do. This whole culture of modification and personalization is a direct result of Honda building cars that were not just reliable and affordable, but also genuinely fun and easy to work on. They gave us a fantastic canvas, and the community just painted masterpieces on it. This vibrant, global fan base is proof of the lasting appeal of Honda's engineering philosophy, and it's a huge part of the brand's identity that, honestly, Toyota has never quite managed to match. So there you have it. 10 reasons why Honda, at least in my view, has consistently outsmarted Toyota when it comes to engine and automotive tech. From the revolutionary VTEC system and those high-revving screamers to their mastery of the manual gearbox and their deep motorsport roots, Honda has always put the driver's experience and the thrill of engineering front and center. They were the unsung hybrid pioneers, the kings of reliable performance, and real innovators in both lightweight design and clever interior packaging. Their smooth shift to turbocharging and the amazing enthusiast community they built are just the icing on the cake. Now, just to be clear, this isn't me saying Toyota is a bad company. Far from it. Toyota builds some of the most dependable, sensible, and well-made vehicles on the planet. They're absolute masters of production, quality control, and making cars that meet the needs of millions. They really do represent the logical, rational side of automotive engineering. But Honda has always been about the heart. They make cars with a spark, with personality, and with a real willingness to take risks just for the sake of fun. They show you don't have to give up soul for reliability. In the end, this whole debate is a fascinating one, showing two very different but equally valid philosophies. Toyota builds appliances of impeccable quality, while Honda builds machines with character. And for the enthusiast, for the person who really loves the of driving, that character makes all the difference. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more car controversies and deep dives. So, what do you think? Are you Team Honda or Team Toyota? Let the debate begin in the comments below.